going into the Real Talk podcast. I'm your boy Dwayne Roberts, and I'm joined by none other, my man Shay Rivera and my man Saeed King. What's happening, fellas?
It's a blessing of a Friday.
Yeah, gracias Dios. Thank God it's
Oh,
Friday.
Yo, he went bilingual on us.
Did he just speak as El Espanol?
Yo, he just took us to another level.
Yeah.
Now they're
Oh my-
gonna expect two languages from us.
Come on,
Hablas
bro. How
un poquito.
you holding on? You didn't even you gonna just drop it in our lap like that?
Yeah, like because you usually my Spanish speaking clients, I tell them mi hablo español tremendo malo.
Good stuff, man. You surprised me with that one, man.
You
really
know,
surprised me with that.
let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So good.
Beautiful
good day, fellas.
Friday night. We blessed. We kings. We're representing. Let's help our culture get to another level.
Let's get to the next level, guys. Man, real quick, man. Let's go around. Let's do a quick check in. See what's the wins for the past week, man. Man, how we moving? How we look to move forward? Coming up into the Christmas holiday. Who's gonna start us out? Wins from this past week, and how we moving into the Christmas holidays.
Oh man, you
I'll
talking
let
about
the
momentum.
king speak.
Hey, hey man, a lot of momentum built in my personal, professional life, business life. Um, we have everybody know I work with juveniles that's in detention, and we partner with the local community college where we have dual enrollment, and we had a successful cohort where they did their presentation, their final presentations in tears, man. You had boxes of tissues being passed around because these guys
Talk
have
about it, bro.
come to grips of understanding who they can be in this world, and past do not have to define. And the professional world, the business world, with For Love of Wisdom, just continue to make contacts, and we have a contract here ready to come up where we're going to be working with one of the charter schools and doing some workshops for their senior students. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
That's good, bro. That's real good.
forward to it.
I wanted to know more about some of the things those students was doing. You were sharing how.
Yeah, they taking their first course is criminal justice, right? They in
Oh,
the system to learn about the system, and they get to look at it from a non they get to look at it from a non-biased point of view, right? Because they're learning how the system, why the system was created and how it was created,
yeah,
and
that's
how
good.
it exists in today's, in this era. So yeah, they did some great presentations talking about. They tackled it from three perspectives. They tackled it from the courts, they tackled it from police, and they tackled it from corrections.
Oh,
So
okay.
And their personal perspective.
well, yeah, they incorporated that, but they did major research on their topics.
Yo, big brother.
So
I
this was
applaud
like
it.
or something you
I
said.
applaud it, love. I applaud it, big brother. I applaud it. Thank you.
Good stuff. So how you moving into the Christmas season, Saeed? You guys get a little hiatus. What's going on there?
Yeah, we get a couple weeks off, and the kids be home from school, and I go pick up my daughter tomorrow from college. So yeah, we just huddle up and spend that time together and embrace it. And try to keep the essence of the true essence of the holiday,
Yeah,
and not get caught up on the commercial.
that's good. Real good. All right. Good stuff, man. Thanks for checking in. My man Shade, man, talk to us. What's the win for this past weekend? How you moving into the holidays, my friend?
Big brother, I'm part of this little community of 3 that we only understand how to dominate the day. So dominating the day this week looks like I put in a proposal. So to catch everybody up that's watching the podcast, I'm a employment specialist in men's shelter. And so this week's win, and yo, dude, mass shout outs to my coworkers because dude, when you network properly, when you build relationships properly, when you take it to the next level and make a team feel like a team, the team delivers. So me doing the basics, networking, building my relationships with the team, I was able to introduce my agency to, and I put in a proposal. And this is crazy because I put in a proposal this week. Instantly, both my directors approved it, sent it along because I was able to get my agency connected with a bank agency to help my clients with limited documentation, develop a bank account, get them started. And shout out to R.A. Williams. I gotta shout her name out right now. Because she came to me not understanding the value of it, but understanding the value of it. She knew it was something, didn't know the extent of something. I recognized it, I jumped on it, and presented it to my leadership.
So you was operating from a place of giftedness and talent. You was in all of what they call giftedness and purpose right there.
But the blessing was, my leadership was like, game on, let's do that, move forward. So when you work with a team that understands who you are, who your character are, what you've been doing every day, what you've been proving. Look, and the one thing that I absolutely love at my status is that I am writing a handbook, employment readiness handbook in front of you while I'm demonstrating what that handbook is doing.
So you modeling your leadership. That's good stuff, brother.
So instantly I know the power of networking. I know the power of networking within your circle. And sometimes your circle gives you something they don't even understand what they're giving you.
Yeah. And
you see the gold in it,
mm-hmm.
and you push it forward. And
that's good.
shout out to my girl, R.A. Danielle Williams. I'm going to throw your name out there. I know I didn't get permission, but homegirl came to me and said, Mr. Rivera, this, and connected me with a bank agency. And that bank agency is willing to do a presentation to teach financial literacy, budgeting, how to handle your finances, like the level, but also provide services that we're not only going to give you a bank account with limited documentations, but we're going to also give you a debit card that has no interest fees when you deal with it.
Debit cards got interest fees? He froze.
Yeah, I never heard.
Oh man, he froze.
Oh, you know what? Probably bank the transaction fees. Like when you go to debit.
Yeah.
Do the when you go to Mac machine and stuff, or they don't call it Mac no more, but ATM machine.
I was going to say, what's a Mac machine? Boy, you about to age yourself. That's good. Phenomenal, man. Look like my man Shay froze. Hey, I can't. Let's see. Shay, what happened, brother? I'm gonna let you come back in. No, hopefully he'll come back in. I'll bring him back in. But no, phenomenal, man. It's nothing like we're operating from a place of giftedness, man. If your talent is with people, building relationships, but not only that, man, having the eye for a vision,
Right.
and how you act lives, is is amazing. There, he just came back in. All right, brother, we got you back.
There you go, big bro.
Yeah,
Good
I mean,
stuff,
like
man. No,
we thought you just like
he just
I
quit.
I was so excited it overpowered this thing.
So Shade, I was just telling Saeed, man, it's nothing like operating from a place of giftedness, being a visionary, using your gift to collaborate, build relationships. That's key. But more importantly, having a vision of how you can support other people. I think that's the beauty in what you guys are doing there out there. And you in NYC, right? I want to make sure
I'm in New York City. I am serving the African American Planning Commission, Inc.
okay.
And dude, absolutely. And I love the topic that we decided to jump on because that topic you brought up was demonstrated in front of me from my leadership. So yeah, I got a lot of takeaways, wins, and successes this week. It's a dominating week. We know how we do this.
Okay, I hear
We
you.
don't walk in being regular.
So how you moving in? How you moving into the Christmas holidays unregularly?
How I'm moving into, so everybody knows before I got married,
And no,
I didn't practice birthdays, Christmases, I didn't practice birthdays, holidays. But since I've been married, since I've been connected, this particular year, dude, I've been holidayed up. This is the season to be given, and I've been given. Ho, ho, ho. I might look like Grinch while I'm doing it, but I'm okay.
guys full of energy, which I gave him before he got on the show.
You know, and it was just a glass of water.
Where's Linus? Linus, see your husband. We're gonna do a shade check.
But you know, what I'm blessed about, especially, dude, like when you brought up this topic, and I'm seeing it in my face from real leadership. It was phenomenal. And shout out. Yo, I got so many shout outs.
All right. Who else you gonna shout out? Go ahead.
I definitely got a shout out to my leadership because, dude, you know, and she didn't give me permission. I didn't talk about this. This is a random because we're in the conversation that I'm talking about it.
Don't talk business now. Leave y'all business.
Okay, so
shout them out.
I'm going to say it like this. I seen a leader live up to leadership. I seen a leader take a personal loss in her life. My daughter's about to walk through.
Come on through. Tell her to stop and say hi to the
and she, look at the courtesy. She walked all the way around. But okay. So going back to what we were talking about, so I seen leadership at an exceptional level this week. And shout out to this individual. I don't want to say her name. She didn't give me permission. And look, so this particular person has taken a loss in her life that it's brought her sorrow, it's brought her loss. And in most cases, I see people take the whole week off, take 2 weeks off before they reconnect. This particular person took a couple of days off and came back on the scene operating at a high level. And not only operating at a high level, but operating for her team, function and focused on her team. And this is where I tell people, dude, you don't leave a bad job, you leave bad leadership. And the leadership that got demonstrated to me this week is something that has me totally committed to the team. Because somebody took a personal loss that would have took other people out, and this individual, this phenomenal queen, came to work, and not only worked, but stayed at the same level that she's always been consistent at.
She didn't miss a beat. That's
She
good.
didn't miss a beat.
Well, great leaders do extraordinary things. One thing that I teach, and when I'm working with teams and organizations, particularly nonprofits, is that five effective practices of leadership. Which one is modeling your leadership, being the example. One is sharing the vision, inspiring vision in others. Three is enabling or allowing others to take action on and support organization or their dreams, how they desire. Four, challenging leaders to do more, be more out of life. Challenging, giving leaders challenges to develop them, and then of course encouraging leaders. Five, encouraging the heart of your leaders. I think those are five practices that each leader should exemplify, right? And to your point, man, great leaders just do extraordinary things. That's because they're not selfish. That's because they put others
Speak it,
before
brother.
them, and yeah, hats off to that phenomenal queen you're talking about. And I have to admit, Saeed and we're familiar with a phenomenal woman who had some experience, a loss, a leader. Let me say that, woman and leader who experienced a loss, and she still showed up. And I'm here to tell you, she's definitely earned my respect as a leader, because what she did for me was, in the midst of her loss, was still, her and we were still in communication, and she was still encouraging, challenging me. She was inspiring the vision, and we began to collaborate together. So shout out to Miss Bridget Brown Jackson out of the Extreme Execution Program. Phenomenal leader. There's leaders that
Extreme execution in the building.
there's some leaders who just do some phenomenal things, man. They're not they understand what it is to serve selflessly. I said that right.
And you know what? You get so proud when you see that type of leadership. Even though that leadership, she is navigating sorrow, loss, while trying to maintain her position, her consistency, her, like, there were so many lessons I learned from her this week. But now listen, this is the crazy part, because I had a supervision with her today, and she's complimenting my leadership and my consistency and everything. And I'm like,
well, great leaders.
But I learned your style from you. I'm just following the pattern. Please don't do that.
No, man. You should receive that, because great leaders encourage the heart. They encourage other leaders when they're doing well. Not only it's Kim Blanchard who said that, and I just talked about this morning. This is pretty interesting. I shared this morning about encouraging the heart. Here's what Kim Blanchard said was that he teaches his the greatest lesson he taught other leaders is to look for leaders doing the right thing, right? Find leaders that's doing the right thing and then encourage them.
Mhm.
Identify them, recognize them for their greatness, for the things that they do good. We always get reprimanded or pointed out when we screw things up, right? But how
Mhm.
many great leaders out there doing great things like the leader you're talking about, man? Um,
Mhm.
it's good to acknowledge
And the
great,
only reason I'm not saying her name because,
and
like,
that's your choice. We
like I didn't tell her I was doing this.
okay.
I'm part of an agency that has regulations.
Okay. Well,
I
we don't
don't
do that.
want to violate her privacy.
Yeah.
Like there's levels to this, but dude, when I talk about extraordinary leadership and I talk about somebody and just to get into the topic that we decided to talk about,
Well, hold on.
because
Hold that thought, Shay.
let's
You
go.
hold that thought. I know you ready
Okay.
to go. I know. Uh, b- but let's. Where did he go? Did he leave me? Where did he? Saeed. Where's Saeed go? I don't know.
It's
I'm-
one of those nights. We'll push through. But
I don't.
continue with your thought.
Uh, I don't know what he. Something a video popping up on my thing here. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the topic, man. But before we do that, man, I want to put the stage on. And did he come back? No, he didn't come back. What is this?
Baby, come back.
I want I
Baby,
want
come back
I want Saeed
to me.
thing, man. So we talking wins, man. We talking wins and lessons, and I love what you're talking, right? Uh,
Hmm.
because I had a phenomenal opportunity today um, to do some training with another organization, some leadership development, team development, and to your point, it's nothing like having a phenomenal team around you, and that energizes one another, that supports one another. I like what you said that your leaders saw your value, they understood the value that you bring. And I think when you're building a team culture, when you're strengthening or building teams, you have to be as the head leader or the director or the person in charge. Um, what's going to make your job easier and what's going to build a stronger culture within the team environment is recognizing others' potential to lead, understanding their gifts that they bring, understanding the talent that they bring to the table, and allowing them to use it. This go right back to the 5 principles I was just talking about. One, the head leader models the example. Therefore, everyone
Saeed is in the room listening, by the
he's
way.
does is he?
So it's a technical problem
Oh,
why we don't see him because he just threw it in the chat. He's here.
what chat he put it in? In I don't know.
The,
Oh,
the private chat.
I see it. I see it now. But yeah, great leaders just do great things, man. And so that's phenomenal. Man, Saeed, I'm hoping you come in, man, so we can um we-
Really get this started.
yeah, get this thing started. I had to slow Shade down because Shade was ready to take off on us. He ready to go. No, not yet, Shade. Hold
No,
on.
yeah, and you know what? It's not that, like, dude, I'm going to tell the truth. What I see at a level that I see it at. And this individual, my leader, she's taking a loss that will crush some people.
There he
And
is.
you can see the loss in her face, you can see the loss in her eyes, but she is totally committed and focused on the team, on the individual, on the clients that we serve. Like she has not missed a beat.
That's good. Phenomenal. That's good.
And
That's
it was like amazing to watch, even though you don't like the circumstances that you're seeing it in.
well, nobody likes
Yeah.
that
But
they
to see the level of commitment that your leader is producing, that is inspiring, aspirational. That makes you want to activate to a next level. Dude, if the man in the front line who's ready to take a shot from me is willing to do this, then I need to make sure I bust through.
That's good. That's real good. All right, Saeed, man. We're gonna put the ball in your corner, man. Bring us in,
Yeah.
bro.
So, just recently I have observed some things around me and watching how people who are put in leadership, how they are operating, and with leadership come responsibility. And sometimes, as a leader, you don't have all the answers. Sometimes you may have made the wrong decision and have not confronted that decision and and admitted like, hey, you know what, I dropped the ball or I did something wrong. Um, with leaders, just like you got your greatest players. They take the game winning shot and they miss them. Michael Jordan talked about it. He missed a lot of shots, but he made a lot of good ones, a lot of winning shots, game winning shots at the end of the game. So I wanted to put this out there and ask the question: what happens to a person when how can a person overcome that type of situation where they are they're stuck in a vulnerable state, and their mind is telling them, don't confront it, don't walk in that room, don't call that person, because they're going to be humiliated, they're going to be embarrassed, and no one likes to be humiliated. No one likes to be embarrassed. So, in spite of that, how do we feel why this is important? Why it's important to show up,
In a
even though,
vulnerable state.
even though you are in that vulnerable state where everybody know you did it wrong and you disappointed everybody, but you got to show up and confront everybody and right your wrong. Why is it important to do that? And what advice do we have for somebody who is in that situation?
Big Saeed, can I go even deeper with it for a second?
Absolutely. That's why it's the topic.
So it's not even at the level of when I do wrong, when I did, when I screwed up, but it's a level where that when I'm hurt, when I'm embarrassed, when I'm in tears, when something has struck me to my core, how do I keep showing up? You know what I'm saying? And this
Right.
is the part where I say that the moment you take the show up, that one step you take to show up, you start showing people growth and resiliency. You start, like the individual that I was talking about, my leader that I was talking about, the moment that you came to work and you were still high level, that was growth and resiliency demonstrated to me. That was authenticity and connection. Those were levels that, dude, regular people don't teach that. And a lot of the things that I tell people, because a lot of people look at me and at your level, why you're going through the dental surgeries and still showing up to do a podcast, work, deal with clients, because I tell people I could wear my scars like a medal. And when you could start beginning to wear your scars like a medal, you start developing a different level in you that other people connect to. Did y'all hear me? Y'all
Yeah.
went quiet on me again.
Oh, we letting you talk. We letting you talk. But I like that too, Shay. I like that too. I just wonder if so I I'm trying to understand Saeed's question. And you added to it, and I think that's an element too that's required. But to address Saeed's question here, how does a person, I mean, make sure I got this right too, Saeed.
Hmm.
How can a person overcome a situation where they're stuck in a vulnerable state, and why is it important for them to show up? That's what I wrote down. Is that
Right.
and
Right.
and so and from the few examples you gave was um like how do they make that phone call? How do they maybe apologize for something? I was
Right.
understanding.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or it could be a situation where, like let's say, a father say, hey, I'm going to pick you up today at 3 o'clock, and we're going to go to the ball game, but don't show up. I think of the classic, classic movie, Jim Carrey, Liar, Liar, right? And and now you have remorse for the decision that you made, and you want to right your wrongs. However, you have to confront the situation.
Yeah.
You know, you have to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, yeah. That's a little different from I think what Shade was point was make he was making the individual experiencing the challenge. And during that and challenges, we are exposed to being vulnerable. Don't me be very clear there. I'm not negating what Shade pointed out, but I did understand. I thought I understood the question a little different. That's why I brought it back. He just clicked out on us, right?
Yeah, right. I was like, wait, what just happened?
You bring him back. I see him. And
No,
so,
but I love it. I love his point
Yeah, I'm
because
here.
there we go. The ghost.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, yeah,
Saeed the
yeah.
King. We're gonna
I don't know
start
why
calling
it happened.
Saeed the Ghost King.
no, uh,
Yeah.
But the follow up with what you were saying, big brother, like one of the main things that I try to teach my clients, my kids, my mentees, my co-workers is own your mistake. Own it.
Right.
Own it. Wear your scars like a medal and learn from it. Because the moment you make a mistake and you demonstrate that you learn from it, you teach other people.
Right.
It radiates to other people.
Right. Mm. No, you great. Say something,
So
Dwayne.
this is the things, especially as men, that I challenge them in, because as men, you know what? It's not even a man thing. It's a people's thing. Dude, no matter what gender, what you're representing, dude, when you make a mistake, you feel some type of way and you try to hide it or keep it in the shadow. Not understanding when you put that mistake in the front light and say, this was my mistake, I own it, and this is what I'm going to do about it. And
well,
show that in front of people. And not just your mistakes, but your pain and your sorrow and and your trials.
Y-
It's just not about just the mistakes, but when you go own your mistakes, your loss, your hurt, your trials, because that's the same category.
Yeah, you,
Anything that you feel that you can't talk to it, that's all in the same category.
yeah, you're right. But here's the issue. It it's being vulnerable. That's the issue. It's the issue is how do I get beyond myself? How do I move beyond what I think, what I'm feeling, so I can share, be willing to share my thoughts, my feelings, as well as my weakness. The problem is most people are not willing to expose themselves to be weak or to have made mistakes or
Right.
to screw up, you know,
Mhm.
because of fear of judgment, you know. Yeah, we yes, I agree with you, Shay. We should own it, but not it's not necessarily we often don't. And sometimes you can't expose your challenges, your shortcomings to everyone. You have to be I recommend you be mindful of who you share what with. Not because you're hiding something, but everybody don't need to know um and I'm gonna use this in the biblical term. Jesus didn't go telling everybody he was the son of God, did he?
No.
He did. That's from the biblical perspective. He didn't go telling everybody he was the son of God. You know, he would ask, who did they say? It wasn't that he didn't want to be vulnerable, or he didn't want to expose. The thing was he didn't want to expose it himself. And sometimes people are in this place where um I recommend, let me say this, and sometimes I recommend that if you are in this place of being vulnerable, be mindful who you share what with, because everybody's not, I'll just say it, your friend, so to speak.
Mhm.
Everybody ain't not in your corner. And so to Saeed's question here, how do we overcome this situation? You know, and of being stuck when, and I think I understand this too. We stuck. Is it because we want to share and we don't share, or or we stuck because we won't share and we should share? Which one is it?
So for
Well,
me,
that's hard to say
yo,
that, but
so for
I
me,
think both.
so
I
and
think
I'm
it's
I'm keeping it to the eye. So for me and the values I learned from showing up while I'm vulnerable is one, I learned who I can trust being vulnerable to.
absolutely
Because
who's in your
when I'm vulnerable, I'm hurting and I'm going through the mix, I start understanding who around me is really supportive and who around me is just a cheerleader, whatever title, but you're on the outside of that, you know. But when you're demonstrating vulnerability, you get to find out who you can absolutely trust and who you can absolutely let go.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
As we show that vulnerability, we also overcome the fears of being our authentic self. Because when we show our vulnerability, we're demonstrating this is my authentic self. I hurt, I bleed, I take it on as well. But how I handle this will be the statement that I leave behind. I don't know if I said that right. I don't know if I
no, but
clarified and simplified that right. But there's a combination with that because, dude, there's a value in being vulnerable in front of people. And the
absolutely,
value is understanding who your team is and what they're willing to play while you're being vulnerable. And I'm gonna use the same example. So this particular person was going through her struggles, her loss, and everything, took days off, and not only did I accomplish the work that I'm responsible for, but I overextended myself, created more, established more, and made her comfortable coming back to work, where she didn't have to worry about, okay, when my time off, he screwed off or he flaked off. Because certain situations when leadership goes through whatever and they're no longer in the building, people do what they do. And I didn't do that in this instant. In this instant, when she and me understanding the loss, the hurt, I made sure when she came back to work, my level of work is at the same level. You don't have to worry about you being here or you gone. You not, like, this is where you show people when you're vulnerable. You get to show when you're vulnerable, people get to show you who they are. So this particular leader, in her vulnerability, her loss, her I showed up not only to say that I'm not only still here, but I'll take on the responsibilities that you can't take on right now at that level. Did I disconnect?
No, you bro. I think Saeed might have froze.
Yeah, Saeed froze. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm here.
No, you here.
I got you. But I don't know if y'all
Yeah.
heard everything I just said.
we got it. We heard everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because vulnerability, when you're able to be vulnerable in front of people, you learn so many lessons.
Absolutely.
And you learn lessons that absolutely count. No matter what that vulnerability is. I screwed up, I took a loss, but when you absolutely act on somebody's vulnerability in a positive way, being there for them, being supportive for them, and making sure they don't have any other worries from your department about, dude, that's a different level. You grow up doing this.
No, that's good. That's a good point, Shade. The truth is, when we are vulnerable, we are looking for the support element there, and so what I hear from you is that how you showed up in somebody else's time of need, and how you supported them during their time of being vulnerable. And I'll be honest, my friend, I commend that. However, I don't think that addresses the being vulnerable, if that makes sense, because we talking from a personal point of view. From a personal point of view, here, I got.
Well, okay.
Go.
So let me
Let me finish my
take it
thought
back
real
for a
quick.
second. So vulnerable, especially when I screwed up, especially when I know I did wrong. It still goes back to me owning it and demonstrating to people, not only do I own it, but I'm taking steps to rectify it because I'm showing up. Because still, when you dude, nobody likes to throw themselves out there after they screwed up. No, nobody likes that position. But to really take that position when you screwed up. It's a major screw up, no matter if it was criminal, accidental, caused some things. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But no matter if it caused some things, but when you own your mistake, you own your trespass, you own that transgression, and step up to show out, you become a leader just in that, just in those steps alone.
No, I don't argue that one.
Because there is an authenticity in that nobody's ever going to be able to take away.
No, I don't argue that one bit. The problem is getting there. How do we get there? How do we take that situation where we stuck and um are we do we desire to be vulnerable? Do we desire, do we have a are we willing to share our vulnerability with others? You know, for the longest time with me personally, I wouldn't always share that that I was in lockup, or that I faced a 3-year felony conviction. I wouldn't share that. You know, I don't know why. Maybe fear. Maybe I didn't want people to know, you know. But the more I got clarity and developed self-awareness, one, about who I desired to be and who I wanted to become, then I began to say, you know what? It's a I found the confidence to be who I needed to be. There, and when I found that confidence, it helped me practice being more vulnerable, you know. And so today I don't hide behind the mere fact that I have a felony conviction, or faced 3 years in faced a 3-year prison stint, while I only did 60 days. Praise God. I'm gonna get God got all the credit for that, because I don't think I'd have last 61. But I did 60 days in county lockup, you know. I
Yo,
can
Saeed, real quick, this is the parts where I be looking at Dwayne like 61 days, bro, and I did a couple of years. You know, we got different languages going on.
Of course we do. But watch this.
But
And,
I
and
respect him. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because, dude, everybody learns at a different level.
yeah,
Some people, it only takes 61 days to get it right.
yeah, but you know, I got it. And a lot of guys, that I work with, um, they in their head, they say the same thing you say, Shay. Well, I did 15, 20 years. I got it. How many times you did 15, 20 years? You know, well, my last stint was 10 years. I did 2 years this time. And you keep finding yourself repeating the system, going back into the system. My point being is, hey, listen, it took me one time to realize that's not where I want to spend the rest of my life. This wasn't the lifestyle that I chose for myself. This isn't how I wanted to live my life. And so, to the place of being vulnerable, the truth was, um, I knew that there was some work in my life that I needed to do. There had to be a change in my life that I needed to do, so I can be vulnerable, be willing to share with others where I've been in life. Because in the beginning I wasn't. It wasn't a badge of honor for me.
Yeah, and I love how you say that, because I also understand, and just understanding psychology and understanding the mindset, dude. Because when you when you don't expose being vulnerable and you start hiding those mistakes, you start hiding that screw up, then you get conditioned to start hiding everything. And then you get conditioned to start hiding who you really are. When
Right.
you start owning those vulnerabilities, when you start owning those mistakes, you make something happen. Like,
Yeah,
I own my prison time.
yeah,
I
but
own all my criminal charges.
Yeah, but
own all those things that
Saeed,
makes me a effective counselor for a reentry homeless population
hold on, Saeed.
because I've been there.
But here it is.
I've done that.
Here we go, Saeed. You own it now. See, you own it today because you got clear that there had to be a change to make.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't own it. You didn't own it maybe 10 years ago. I mean, I don't,
Absolutely not.
you understand? So when we talk about being vulnerable and then from Saeed's point, he's saying, hey, as a father, you show up and you tell your kid you're going to pick them up at 3 o'clock, but you don't show up at all, you know, and then so how do you and now in that moment in time express to your offspring, your
Mhm.
son, your daughter, that hey, daddy screwed up, that you know what, I'm sorry. How do you do that? And oftentimes, and we just talk men don't do that. They think the kid's supposed to understand. They think that
No,
they just
I had to do it a different way with my kids. And I love the fact that you brought the kids and us not being able to be there for them because I had to have the conversation with my kids. And one of the conversations for my kids was that
Well, one before you go in to say that,
go ahead.
say, what were you internally? Were you trying to talk yourself out of it?
No, I wasn't internally trying to talk myself out of. I was trying to condition them to not be. I was trying to, and this is going to sound crazy as I say this. I was trying to condition them not to be conditioned for anything.
No, but I mean, like, sometimes we have our the inner battles with ourselves. Like, I'll give you an example. We got another example.
Okay.
Right, I'm a big Magic Johnson fan.
Oh, let's talk about 32.
When he found out he had HIV,
Mm-hmm.
he said he drove around. He drove around the house like multiple times before he can go in and tell his wife that he had HIV.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and we know how he got HIV. Partying and doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to he had to break that news to her. So it was a challenge for him to. He was in a vulnerable state. It was a challenge for him to walk in that door and apologize and explain to his wife what he had. So that's what I mean, like that inner battle in the midst of him driving around and around and around, not going to the house, sitting in the driveway, figuring out how he going to go in and do this. Right? It takes a lot of bravery.
Yeah, courage. This is where I say too, you have to be willing to share it. If you're not willing to share it, or you're not going to share it. It's not that you're hiding it. It's not that you're keeping it from anyone. The problem is
Yeah, it doesn't have to be told to everybody.
that's one thing, but more importantly, you have to be clear on now, because what Saeed is saying is there's a mental process to this. There's a battle in your thought, in your thinking, and this is where I said I had to be clear on who I needed to be. This is not who I want to be. This is not what I want to represent. You understand? And before you become vulnerable, before you start exposing um uh what's in your closet, or before you start admitting to the shame or hurt that you've done in the past, you have to deal with that inner person, that inner thought, that inner being, and start working him. I'm not even sure. I think if I see, I could see Magic Johnson driving around the house several times and pulling in the car lot in front of the house, and sitting there for another 20, 30 minutes with his thoughts, saying, man, how am I going to go in here and share this? And I think before he could even go in to make to share that, he had to make up his mind that that's not who he desires to be. You just don't go share it because um because you got it.
I
You
got
don't
it.
share it because you got it. You share it because now there's a change that you want to take that's going to take place in your life. There's something different that's moving you and into a different direction or realm.
And to add on it, not just a change in your life, impact is a domino effect.
Yeah.
Like I and I didn't want to person. That's something maybe saw somebody, but that's big for me because now here that's going to alter that will alter our lives in this house. And so I got in a car accident. I'm like calling my wife and telling her I got in an accident. We got to share cars. I got in an accident. Happened. Car. Here she get an alert from the that this car rental. So she calls me while I'm at the rental place. And obviously she was going to find out. I was going to tell her, but they beat me to the punch because I was dreading doing it. You know, that's something small, but you know, we have big situations out there where people hold these secrets and don't tell anybody, and they don't confront these situations, and it have a long lasting effect in not just their life but other people's lives.
Yeah. 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 And I think that's the key right there. Why, when you ask the question, why is it important? Because like you said, it has a ripple effect. Other people, it affects other people, you know, other individuals are involved. And it don't feel good to them. If you let's just be honest, it don't
No,
feel
it doesn't.
it don't
You
be
want to
feel
grow.
be the last one to know, so to speak.
Yeah. No, yeah, it doesn't. And I did. And the reason why I asked what's the inner battle that you know in that shade, because I and like, at least I can speak from my experience. It's times I just want to run. I don't want to confront it. However, I got to count my calls. If I run, what's the consequence?
Yeah.
If I confront it, you know, I'm going to that pain or that anger or disappointment, um, that humiliation. That's only going to last for so long, especially when you have someone who, and I speak to what you're saying, Shay. You know, when you are vulnerable, you know, people can learn from that. So, and I can speak in my marriage, and if I go to my wife and I say, you know, I need your help, or I don't know the answer. Uh, she is empowered by that because now that gives her opportunity to use her superpower and support me or help solve that problem. But if I'm
You
the
know what,
only
big
one
brother?
solving the problem, then that superpower is never cultivated to do bigger and
Yo,
greater things.
yo, blessings to you, Saeed. Yo, blessings to you, King. Yo, blessings. Because as Dwayne was saying that, I went through a whole recap with just me and my wife. And without full disclosure, because I didn't talk to my wife about sharing anything, going without going through full disclosure. So when me and my wife were dating, when me and my wife first met, and me and my wife were really feeling each other, there was a, there was I had to be outright brutal and state the facts of what it is. And what it is criminal history, this, that, the other. I'm known, I'm this, I'm that. Dude, there's a lot to shade that people just don't understand why the name is Shade. But my wife understands. But what my wife had to deal with early on was my vulnerability. Because, dude, yeah, I could sit here, want to build a future with somebody and not tell you what it is, and it's going to be a castle built on sand. Or I could tell you exactly what it is, so the kingdom that we create is on foundation. And that foundation is gold. That's the value of vulnerability. Because the value of vulnerability, you are building from a truth. And the value of vulnerability is that you're building on the truth, building with a team that's willing to meet you where you're at. That's why I love being vulnerable and being forthright and telling it what it is.
Yeah, that's good. I think too. There's some aspects to that.
And it's been and let me not. There's been rewards for that.
Absolutely.
Because that truth has me at a successful marriage. That truth has me and my wife in successful businesses.
Yeah,
That truth has us raising kids doing successful things.
and
That truth has our kids fighting a diligent fight.
those are all outcomes, and they are all great. That's the outcome, right? But before you get the outcome, you have to build awareness, right? And so I like that, because that's what you're talking about is um what you were able to do because you practice being vulnerable. And again, I think here's something. I think there's steps to embrace to being vulnerable. That's where I'm going with this. I think there's steps to embrace to become vulnerable. One, I believe you have to develop self-awareness about where you are, um, and reflect on your emotions and thoughts about and insecurities. You're gonna have to
You got to be emotionally intelligent.
yeah, absolutely. That you're gonna have to practice emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
right? You're gonna have to identify too for yourself a safe space. Where's that safe space? Who are those people in my corner that I can trust this with? Or who are those people I can trust that'll support me? That's what I hear you say too.
Mm-hmm.
I think too that you can't share everything. You said, Shay, that there's layers to your past, right? I don't think everybody need to know everything about you personally. Me. And what I mean by that is, I don't think people need to reflect on your past. We all got a past. I'm not here to judge you for your past. I'm not here to hold you accountable for your past. I want to know who you are today, the man you've developed into. We all got an ugly past, you
Right.
know.
But
Um,
there's a flip side to that coin, because and people will tell you immediately about me, dude. You can tell me whatever. It doesn't shake me, doesn't rock me, doesn't even impress me. And if it catches, like seriously, I have done so much that. But here's the quality, and again, this goes back to being vulnerable, because I led a life of trying to live up to an image. And when you're not vulnerable, you're now trying to be an image. And I led a cycle of being an image. And that image left me scarred, left me beat, left me mental health issues, left me infectious disease, left me addictions, left me with Anger issues left me with, I will put hands on you in an instant you talk about it. The vulnerability lets me heal, lets me connect with people that are interested in and value who I am. That's the greatness of vulnerability. Because you could actually be your authentic self and have a support system created that supports the next step in growth. Because being vulnerable also leaves you in a growth mindset, not in an image mindset. Because the image, when you cover up this, look, and I tell my guys, I tell my mentees, I tell my kids, own your scars, wear your scars like a medal. Wear your scars like a medal. This is why I could do a podcast going through a year-long dental surgery and still show up at a podcast. This what has me doing workshops, looking like how I look, exactly how I look, being my authentic self because I'm vulnerable. I've already engaged in what got me here. I'm future focused, goal orientated, and task focused to make sure that I come past that vulnerability.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good. Was we about top of the hour now?
We
Got
rocking
Yep.
right now.
what's your
Saeed, and you brought a good one up tonight.
no? This all Saeed, man. This ain't got nothing to do with your boy.
Yeah.
This all Saeed. Saeed, man, go ahead, take us on out, man.
Yeah, take us on out, big brother.
Hey
Did
man,
we
this is
answer your question, man?
say that again.
Did we answer your question?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we hit it on from multiple angles.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, for anybody who who is experiencing a situation where you feel vulnerable and you have a hard time confronting it, um, at, at the end of the day, best advice is to confront it. Just go for it.
And let me say this out because I'm so proud of this particular episode. And I've never done this before, but this particular episode is definitely dedicated to Yolanda Billingsley, Sharice Francis. Yo, this episode is dedicated to y'all. I hope I represented it well. Blessings for the lessons that I learned this week from those two individuals.
Yeah. So absolutely give credits where credits due. But again, if you're a leader, you're a parent, um, and you have some responsibility, and you have to confront a situation because you made a bad judgment call. Um, confront it, own your mistake, and confront it. Be open to the criticisms, the constructive criticism, and grow from it. Don't just go through the situation, grow through the situation, and commit to doing better next time. Handling it, make a better decision, more judgment decision. If you're a leader and you don't have all the answers, seek your team, and get help and get their input because you're giving them value and you allow them to exercise the superpowers that they have that you may lack. I don't know anybody that have. I know as parents we claim and teachers we claim we got eyes in the back of our head, but we really don't. You know, we really don't. We need somebody that's going to have our back.
Well said, bro. Well said.
Is that it, bro?
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Practicing vulnerability um, involves being open, honest about your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences, even when you're uncomfortable. Yeah,
Definitely when you're uncomfortable.
yeah.
Because the uncomfortability is growth. You don't go to the gym and you're comfortable putting up that 125 on your chest. You're not comfortable. You
125
know, you're
weight.
not
Hey,
comfortable
Jay.
you're not
Yeah, I'm thinking you're
comfortable
gonna
wearing
mention
a suit
maybe
when you're used to wearing jeans and Timberlands. You're uncomfortable.
well, hold
Push
up,
through it.
Shay. You'd have said like at least 225, 125.
Yeah, he throwing up lightweight.
Oh
Who you
man.
Oh, dude. Hey, dude. I'm at an age right now. I'm good at 15.
He's throwing up the lightweight, bro. You going
Yo,
out at
dude,
two.
my days in the yard in the snow pushing 315, those are over. I am so with the good 10 pounds. I'm good with 10 pounds. I can still lift 10. I'm good. You know what? I work at a desk with a pen. None of that is 315.
So listen, guys.
I'm the, you know,
I'll close this.
blessings.
We're gonna close this one out. This was good, Saeed, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Definitely. Good
Thank,
topic, bro.
thank you.
Great.
And it was a topic that immediately activated me with the things that I was witnessing in my eyes, front of my face. You know, like absolutely, brother. Wonderful topic. Blessings to the individuals that I mentioned, I talked about directly, indirectly, like because, dude, this is where, you know, again, I tell people, wear your scars like medals. You were chosen to show people how to handle it. Do it well.
Good stuff. That's it. Says the clock on the wall. I'm gonna close out and give you some simple steps that to helping you embrace vulnerability. One, practice self-awareness. D- get real clear on your emotions and feelings and your thoughts. Two, identify a safe space, some individuals that you can talk to and share, and feel
Oh,
comfortable with exposing your deepest secrets or your shame, hurts, or whatever that might be. Start small, man. Let me say that. I think that's the key. Take those little steps. Saeed gave a real good example of a small step of being vulnerable in his life when he shared about the car accident. Be willing to express your feelings. At the same time, realize this: we all imperfect, and accept your imperfections. We all are work in progress. We're growing and developing. Also, be present. Be present. Where are you now? Know where you are now. Be present with yourself as you develop and grow, and embrace. Here's the good one: embrace uncertainty. Everybody may not receive you. People might leave you. You know what? Embrace it. It's okay. Learn from your experiences. We heard that all night. And then be willing to cultivate compassion, self-compassion. Um, don't beat yourself up because of the mistakes you made in your past. Again, we are a work in progress. This is the beauty that I know about the God that I serve, that He loves you, no matter what you've been through, no matter what it may feel like. God is a loving God, and He wants to help you become the best version of yourself. I often tell men, you can't do it on your own, and I may not be the one who can help you, but if you will just take time and spend some time with the Creator, man, you'll be surprised how He can help you overcome some of the challenges that we face in life, man. That's it. Says the clock on the wall, man. I want to say thank you guys for taking time and rocking with us on the Real Talk podcast. We're here every first and third Friday. As we close this out, man, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all. God bless you.
Blessings. Honor your ancestors. That skin that you're wearing.